person, I can't let no hoe to lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, all they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying. This shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Suckle up and stay alert. Another cop just stretch the nigga. He a demon, it's that exorcism. Watch I bless the nigga. You took that oath in blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with you. Fuck the opposition, I see vision. Let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spit and I ain't listening. Is in fact the If revenge was a woman, now I stroke that bitch like Jack the Ripper. So war, we gon' run the summer. It's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't just do that. Bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it Young Gang. How you real triggering on them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? When he saying something, I ain't hear him. This shit light. It ain't about who got the gun, it's about who gon' up that pipe first. I turn a bad situation to a game change. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain. Free shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand and feed you, you'll never get that hand back. He bitchin' about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody wanna be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. I'm a certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, out with that hollow side, yeah, this the rim accord. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still up on my brain, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get that boy lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
I'ma show him it's a difference. I'ma only say this once, you better listen. When West is where it started, so you know that's where it finished. We got one main objective, nigga, let's complete the mission. We explaining what the who, lead them bitches in they feelings. Snub on me, only time I put my nose inside your business. I don't want my gun to show, so I wear my shirt bigger. This is our world, cause if this was your world, I'd be the villain. Break his whole block down, all I gotta do is business. Stuffing Mac shell drums, turn your crib to Sunday dinner. You don't live here, you visit, this my shit, it's a difference. I don't do lean, Lobos in my cup is what I'm sipping. I don't do dreams, I just say a prayer, go and get it. And it all work out, you know this ain't for play, this ain't for fun. I've been destined for this shit, niggas know that I'm the one. This shit can go 100 yards, you would think I kicked a punt. You would think I had a flare gun on go, you niggas run. They like he an Israelite, all he rap about is guns. Bitch, I'm an Israelite that own a lot of guns. What that nigga said who? Tell him watch the grind. Yeah, you must be crazy if you ever think of stopping mine. Knock all of the chains out you niggas, make them drop a dime. This tourist hold 12, it is not a zodiac sign. Piss me off, get me in my bag, make me drop a bomb. Drop a nuke, make the world freeze, I can stop the time. Watch what you do, cause once you do it, you can't press rewind. On purpose, I do the opposite, so nigga cross the line. This is different, I ain't looking for trouble, but on point, case you think I rap. Turn him to a vegetable, lead this nigga Cabbage Patch. No new niggas with me, if you see him, then they got my back. Got it out the mud, big stepping, you can see the tracks. Follow me, I could teach you something, have her see relax. If you gon' speak on anything, just make sure it's fact. It's a difference, we are not the same, help them notice that. Pay attention, watch how we move, we can know we can't. Hang around all real niggas and we move as one. This ain't Fortnite, get into it, ain't no 1v1. The smoke I bring to you, you can't take it in with your lung. Life about warfare, we just make it look fun. She asked what kind of oil I got on, I told her give him some. What's the only real niggas left, you better get you one. Chicken shop, giving out wings if I pull a drum. It's a difference, you better watch your words before you eat your tongue. Scrape the whole plate, not a trace nor leave a crumb. Ice falling off the watching chain like it's freezer burn. Daring somebody to say my name, I will eat to him. Loyalty means everything, so I don't eat with them.
Pando, kill the beat. I don't know who, somebody need to hear this. Y'all don't speak Hebrew, that's Yiddish. How the fuck you try to label us anti-Semitic? We the Israelites, blacks, native Hispanics. The Germans getting locked up for the Holocaust. Meanwhile, black people still up in the Holocaust. 100 million of us died in the transatlantic. 6 million died, y'all want the world to never forget it. You can never be a Jew, you a Ashkenaz. This ain't a star dum-dum, a gun die or die. Yeah, Yeezy told the truth and got ostracized. Not one person in the Bible had on a yarmulke. We were slaves in America like we was in Egypt. Y'all don't even fit the curses in the Torah neither. Y'all was blind to the truth, I had to make it clear. How Jerusalem, your land, your people came from Europe. That was 1947, your menorah got 9 sticks, it's really only 7. Yeah, it's us against the world, Armageddon. This what happened when you inherit lies from your ancestors. Y'all the synagogue of Satan with them black hats. Your whole nation sitting ducks, Aflacs. Bunch of thieves and culture vultures, ain't nothing kosher. To tell the truth, you vagabonds don't have a culture. Macedonia, Alexander and Philip, you a convert, so tell me, how the fuck is you Israel? That don't make you the people just cause you live there. Why my people can't hate your people like y'all hate Hitler? All the prophets was black and was called nigga. Y'all don't even fit the description that's in the scriptures. Abraham, all the way down to Jacob, we the real Jews. Y'all don't study Christ, y'all follow the Talmud. Keep it real, yeah, let's keep it real. Cold hard truth, it give you chills. Say y'all Jewish cause y'all ain't really them. About to do them like Hammond, it's the Feast of Purim. U.P.K undefeated, this an easy win. We was born fighting, y'all the evil twin. Jacob took hold of his heel, then out came his little red bastard and they kosher deals. It's only 12 tribes, y'all trying to make it 13. Esau despised his birthright, the Lord cursed him. He ain't the devil, who is? I'm still searching. Ask your rabbi, why he get them babies herpes? I don't know what's worse, that or you claiming that you a Maccabee. I'm about to cancel, everybody try to cancel ye. I ain't afraid to speak, this what I do. They riding to the core, I'm just judging them by their fruit. Cause they ain't suffering curses. If I was carnal, I promise I'd punch you in person. I know this an uncomfortable subject. They making millions off our culture and black people suffering from it. Yeah, they don't believe in Christ, they the Antichrist. Make a living off of niggas, they a parasite. I ain't afraid to tell the truth, niggas terrified. I'm about to go DEFCON 4, I ain't satisfied.
That is proof. That is absolute proof that they know we are the real Jews. That's absolute proof. Now you got the records. Go find me a white Jew on any archaeology in Egypt anywhere. You will never find a piece of archaeology with white people as slaves in Egypt. So don't tell me that they were slaves and it's their identity, and they know it. And another blasphemy of them, which they are too. They are not. The Lord knows the blasphemy of you so-called white people that say you are Jews and you are not Jews. You are not the people of the law. You are not God's chosen people. God's chosen people are living in the ghettos of America. God's chosen people are in poverty and depression in the streets of America. God's chosen people are...
Hey, Shalom, Yahbashim, Shabbat to all the brothers, Yahweh Tam Bashim, Yahweh to all the sisters. Again, like every Tuesday night, this Precinct Officer 500, Barak Ya Allah, with the I.S.U.P.K, which stands for the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. And tonight, like every Tuesday night, we have the Brotherhood class in the stand. And tonight's topic is interesting, is the fact that there's going to come a time where it's going to be to each his own. You understand? It's going to come a time where Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians are going to have to pick a side. And after tonight's class, I'm going to understand what I'm talking about, right? It's going to be a time where you're either going to be with your people or against your people. And it's going to be totally out of your control. Because like in the first place, right, we're going to see that all I'm going to talk about is biblical, right? In the first place, the Most High said, you know, we need to be separate in the first. We need to be segregated as a people in the first place. 12 tribes, the so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We need to be separated in the first place. But the Most High is going to make sure that he's going to bring some events, just like, you understand, the invasion of Ukraine, the invasion of China that's coming soon, right? We're gonna see that we're not gonna have a choice but to join and gather together, and we're gonna have to either dwell together or dwell with our oppressors. we're going to see that we're not going to have much of a choice. As a matter of fact, let's go right into some scriptures where the Most High ordered us to be a separate people, not to mingle with the other nations, right? We're going to start in the Old Testament in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. Chapter 7, verse 6, just for a start, right? The Most High told us to be a separate people. He ordered us not to mingle and not to mix with the other nations. But what do? Just like Martin Luther King wanted to lust after some snow bunnies, wanted to lust after some other nations. We'd rather be with other nations than be with our own. And that's the problem. Well, let's see what the Most High told us. Let's see if Martin Luther King was doing what the Most High said to do, or the total opposite. Because Martin Luther King said, let's join hand in hands, and I have a dream about little black boys holding hands with little white girls and little white boys with little black girls. Let's see if he was doing the will of the Most High, or was he against the Most High? Right? Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6, it reads, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God." Now, what does the word holy means? For everyone who's in the chat, on YouTube, Facebook, well, on Twitter and TikTok, what does the word holy means? You understand? I see y'all on TikTok are active in the chat. So what does the word holy means? Right? If y'all can answer. You know, the word holy comes from the Hebrew word Kodash, meaning separate. You understand? The Most High told the nation of Israel to be a separate nation. That's what he said to be, right? And as we keep reading, the Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. So not only we're supposed to be a separate people, but it says that we are a chosen people. So with everything that's going on in the world right now, right? The World War III that is brewing, the race wars that are brewing, you understand? Some people are just going to be choosing to be either liberal, Republican, or whatever nonsense there's out there, right? We're supposed to be separate from everything that's going on right now. We're not supposed to choose a side of one of our oppressors. We're supposed to be a holy people. And the Most High chose us to be a separate nation from everything that's going on right now. We're not supposed to partake in it. But guess what? What day is today? Today is the 4th of July, right? America celebrated their independence. And you had a lot of Black and Hispanic lighting up the barbecues as well. And a lot of them voted for Joe Biden. Joe Biden told them, well, guess what? If you ain't voting for me, you're not Black. Now, we'd rather side with an oppressor that's telling us whether we're Black or not. You understand? Like, how does that make sense? Why would we side with an oppressor that's telling us that we're not Black if we're not voting for him? And the craziest part is that a lot of brothers went to vote for him afterwards, after that comment. They were scared of getting their Black card revoked. Do you see how sick we are in the head? Like, don't you see that that's some type of mental illness? That your oppressor tells you, if you're not joining with me, then you're a traitor to your own race. That's what the oppressor tells you. So you go ahead and vote for Joe Biden. When the Most High told you to be separate from Joe Biden. 3 days ago was Canada Day, which is the same thing. You understand? A lot of brothers were celebrating Canada Day, but guess what? The oppressor is only able to celebrate Canada Day and Independence Day of America just because they committed a genocide on the Native American Indians. Just because they had so-called Latinos and Negroes enslaved in chains. That's how they're able to celebrate 1st and 4th of July. And the crazy part is that y'all gonna say, well, the Bible is a white man's book. I'm not gonna follow the Bible But yeah, you're going to celebrate the 1st and the 4th of July. How does that even make sense? Like, you don't even understand the lunacy that's coming out your mouth. Because the Bible is not a white man's book. But the 1st and the 4th of July are white man's holiday. Yet you're out there proudly celebrating them. And the Most High told you to be a separate nation, a special people. As a matter of fact, let's keep reading. Right? The Lord thy God had chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So not only we're special people, we're supposed to be separate, we're supposed to be holy, but supposed to be above all the nations that are on the face of the earth. Right? We're not supposed to be mixing with all these single nations. We're not supposed to have any interracial marriages whatsoever. We're supposed to be separate. That's how you know the dream that Martin Luther King had was really a nightmare. And he was really going against what God said to do. God never said to join with the other nations. God never said to join with our oppressor. The Most High told us to be separate from our oppressor. But we'd rather listen to Martin Luther King than God. Like, you see how crazy that is? You're gonna say, I don't want to follow man, I don't want to listen to man. Y'all listen to Martin Luther King integrating and talking about you don't want to listen to man. And you see how y'all are not making sense? Yeah, y'all are Christians. Yes, which is Christianity is white supremacy. So you're basically, you understand, following after your oppressor. Talking about you don't want to follow after men. You want to listen to what the I.S.U.P.K tells you. The I.S.U.P.K tells you to follow the Most High. Yeah, you want to follow men, and you want to follow your oppressor at that. That's even worse, right? But let's get another verse, right? We're gonna get Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. Before I read Leviticus 20 and 26, I'm gonna go over the comments in the chat, YouTube, Facebook. Let's see what's going on TikTok. You understand? The Bible says people like you are here to tie milestones around our necks. Like, what are you even talking about? The star that belonged to David, it was Saturn's. That's how we know that y'all don't even understand the Bible, right? This is not a star. There's no such thing as a 6-pointed star. Instead, a star is literally like a ball of gas. The sun is a star. The star or ball of gases in space, or a figure of speech to mean like a person of high stature, or instead like a celebrity, a rising star, for instance, right? It's not the seal of Solomon, it's the seal of David. Those are two da. That's how you write the name of David, da wa da. So this is his signature, a da on top of another, an inverted da on top of another, upright. That's it, right? Modern anti-fascist, fascist. See, put something with substance. You understand? Otherwise, you'll just be ignored. So let's go to Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26, where there's not only one instance where the Most High told us to be a holy, meaning separate, right? He made sure that we were a separate people. You understand? In Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26, we read, "And ye shall be holy unto me." Again, just like I told you earlier, the word holy comes from the Hebrew word kodash, meaning separate, right? Let's keep reading. For I, the Lord, am holy. Just like our God, Yahweh in the Hebrew, is holy, meaning separate. Just to let you know that he's separate. He don't even just call himself God. He calls himself the God of the children of Israel, meaning he's not for everybody. He's only for the children of Israel. He separates himself, you understand, from the rest of all the nations that are on the face of the earth. Just like God is a separate God from all the other deities, the fake gods that are there, because he's the only one true living God. Just like he is separate, we're supposed to be separate as well, because we are his children. We're not supposed to be mixing with the other nations that he doesn't give a damn about. We're supposed to be separate. You understand? And we're gonna further see why we're supposed to be separate. Julie Galarza, how can you block me? You're not. You don't even have to be in the chat. Just don't even have to be on the live. That's what you could do. You understand? Let's keep reading. For I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. Like, what does it mean to sever something? For those who are in the chat, you want to be that active in the chat. Julie Galassi, you want to be in the chat, try to answer the question. What does it mean to sever something? And for those who are trying to act smart in the chat, what's his name? Johnny Faze or Stumpy, whatever. What does it mean to sever something? If y'all seem to know everything, right? What does it mean to sever something? I'm gonna give y'all 10 seconds. Camus Crush. This is not Hebrew. If you come with nonsense, I'm gonna just tell you hocus pocus. We're not even in the Sabbath. Good night. Plus, this is not Hebrew. You're probably a purple sodomite. But listen, y'all can answer, so I'm gonna answer for y'all. To sever something, I mean to cut off. You understand? When something gets severed, it gets cut off. It just lets you know, right? That to be holy means to be cut off from the other people. And so we're supposed to be separate from the other people. We're not supposed to be joined together like Martin Luther King told us to be. You understand? We're supposed to be separate, right? Let's keep on. Let's read that again. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. Right? We should be holy people. We should be a separate nation. That's what we should be. The nation of Israel, the 12 tribes, who are so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians that were enslaved in chains in the Americas and in the Caribbean. You understand? And then I'm going to show you why should we be holy, right? Why should we be separate? Why should we not join the other nations? We're going to get into the topic of our class, where it's going to be at some point, it's going to be to each his own. We're going to either come gather with your people, or be against your people. Like, I don't know for those who are watching the news whatsoever, right? Have y'all seen what's going on in France right now? Like, we already know what's going on in Ukraine, and we already know China's threatening to invade Taiwan, and Kim Jong-un is making threats to press a button left and right. But have you seen what's going on in France right now? Listen, France is in shambles. Just to give you some background so I can understand the context of what's happening in France, right? The police unalived a 17-year-old. You understand? They unloaded on him at point blank range, right? And now, for the past couple of days, France is literally burning down. Like, the country is literally burning down. People are setting fires in schools. They rammed a car in the mayor's office and assaulted the mayor and his wife. Yes, that listen. Just France is going ballistic right now. That's all you need to understand. And to add insult to injury, what they did is that they didn't just unalive anybody. They unalived a young Ishmaelite, a young Arab dude. And there's been racial tensions between the Arab community and the French nation for decades. Not only that, France is one of the most racist places in Europe. And I could attest to that. I'm not just making stuff up, right? So what you're seeing in France right now, not everybody who's rioting in France is rioting because they unalived a young kid. It's just built up oppression. It's like all that pressure that you're holding back, all that anger because of the oppression that the French people put you under. For a lot of people, that incident that happened with those riots was just an excuse to let your anger loose because of all the oppression that they suffered for decades and decades. Like the French people, the French nation is not a righteous nation. Yes, it is. You could compare the French to the Spanish or the British, to be honest. They're as violent as the Spanish and the British. People, they have a false image of France of, being what they call it, what, the city of love, Paris. They call Paris the city of love. France is a very racist country. It's a very racist empire. France was only able to be so prosperous. France was only able to prosper because they had blacks and Hispanics and natives in slavery, just like the Spanish, just like the Portuguese, just like the British. The French Empire was built off of the backs of slaves. Just so you understand, like France was a rich nation. I say was because they're in an economical decline, just like many other oppressors' nations. They were a prosperous nation because of oppression. That's it. And now it's like, this is not the first instance of police brutality where someone gets unalive in France. You understand? Someone gets physically harmed or unalive. But they cannot hide it no more to where it's going worldwide. Just like America cannot hide the amount of police brutality, in a sense, that they commit, the amount of unaliving they commit. All the evils are coming to light right now. Right? As a matter of fact, we're gonna see like these people, why they're so, we're gonna see how these people are so vexed right now. So the people in France, and we're gonna break down how, you understand, basically what's going on in France right now, the way the whole country is burning down, the whole French Empire is crumbling down. This is coming to the UK. This is coming to Spain. This is, hey, best believe it, it is coming to Canada and America. I don't think this is just an isolated incident. Don't think like, oh, well, it's going to pass after a couple of weeks, whatever the case is. It's just going to get worse from there. Right? So let's go into the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2. We're going to go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2. Zero said Exodus 21, chapter 20, verse 21. What about it? Do you have any question? What about it? So Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2, and it reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. That's talking about the 12 tribes, because as a matter of fact, yeah, that's talking about the 12 tribes, right? I'm going to give you some context. I'm going to get you another precept where you're going to understand what it's talking about, right? When the righteous is an authority, the people rejoice, meaning, listen, if Black, Hispanics, and Native Indian were ruling, were in power on the face of the earth right now, there would not be any instance of police brutality where you hear about someone getting unalived left and right every other day. Right? You wouldn't be complaining about having your neighborhoods flooded with drugs. You wouldn't be complaining about black on black crime, brown on brown crime. The Native Indian wouldn't be complaining about being on a reservation. They'll be ruling the world. You wouldn't have how could I put it? You wouldn't have a lot of poverty like you have in life. You see all those homeless people in on Skid Row in California, in downtown Montreal, downtown Toronto. You wouldn't have that. People just sleeping outside in the street, just sleeping in the dirt, sleeping in their own excrements. You wouldn't have that. The people would be rejoicing because it would be a righteous rulership under the 12 tribes. But let's see about the rulership that we have right now, right? But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And that's what you have in France right now. France is such an oppressive empire. Like, there's always been a civil unrest in the French Empire. Like, do you know how many countries, how many nations the French oppressed. Like besides the 12 tribes, like French is still oppressing and taking resources from a lot of West African countries like Mali, you understand, Guinea, whatever the case is. They have their currency is called the franc CFA. You understand? Based off of the French currency. Y'all don't understand. French is a very oppressive country. They oppress the Arabs, they oppress the Moroccans, they oppress the Algerians, the Tunisians as well, right? And those people are mad. I mean, just like I said, they're gonna use that incident to let their frustration out because they were oppressed for so long. Like, okay, that incident happened in France with a young Arab kid, right? But even in the French Caribbean islands, in Martinique, Guadeloupe, we're rioting as well. But we're not rioting for the same reason. We're rioting because we're so oppressed that we're gonna join. We're not necessarily joining the fight for the same reason. We're going at it against our oppressor. We're expressing our anger for being so oppressed for so long, for so much centuries. Understand? Like Martinique and Guadeloupe never got their independence from France. They're still being oppressed. You understand? It's bad to the point where France, they poisoned the islands of Martinique and Guadeloupe, and everybody was quiet about it. No one said nothing about it. When it was time to take it to trial, they said something like, I think they call it the statute of limitations. I forgot exactly. I think it was a dismissal actually, because it was like too late to prosecute anyone for the poison of Claude de Con, right? But just to show you that we're not complaining about our situation the way you say we're complaining about a situation, but no one would hear us. Like you see devils always talking about 9/11 was a tragedy, or soldiers in the Middle East is such a tragedy, whatever the case is. Well, nobody's telling them, well, forget about it, was in the past, or it's just let bygones be bygones, right? When it comes to our people, when it comes to the Native American Indian people talking about, well, they took our land and then they left us on reservation, we'll tell them, well, guess what, it's 2023, forget about it. When the Latinos are complaining about, well, they forced us to speak Spanish, right? They gave us nationalities like Colombians and Panamanians, we're being told, forget about it. When black people are Caribbean people are complaining that, we were under the French rule, the British rule, and we're still part of the Dominion, or we never got our independence. Like, well, guess what? Forget about it. Let bygones be bygones. We're in 2023. Let's move on. That's what we're being told to do, to move on from everything that happened to us. And how are we supposed to move? Like, why would you have the right to speak about what happened to you and we don't have the right to speak about what happened to us? Like, we can't even speak about it, much less act on it. You understand? But like you see, a lot of people rioting in France right now, they're not only Arabs rioting or protesting for a little Arab kid. There's some Africans, there's some Turkish, there's some West Indians people, right? And those West Indians are not necessarily rioting for the same reason. It's just for all the oppression that they still go through. It's just, you know what? We found, that is, they took advantage of that incident just to let their frustration out. Because what I say again, when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. When the wicked is in rulership, people mourn. You understand? And we're going to see that. We're going to have, like, what happens in France right now is going to spread throughout the European continent. It's going to come to the Americas, the Caribbean. It's going to be civil unrest so bad that when there's going to be like civil war, race wars, we're going to have to pick a side. And you're either going to be, again, you're either going to be with your people or against your people. Then let me go. I'm going to get another precept, right? We're going to get 2nd Ezra chapter 15. And before I read the precept, I'm going to go over those comments real quick. And just pull up verse. 2nd Ezra chapter 15. One second. We'll go 15 and verse 8, as a matter of fact. I'm going to start at verse 8. Let me go over the comments real quick. Why you just said about wicked, who cares? Worry about you and your family. I worry about me and my family. That's what I care. Because those wicked people, those oppressors are ruling over me and my family. It's bad to the point where y'all still have Native American Indians on reservation and they're still begging for clean water. But y'all don't give a damn. Y'all rather give billions of dollars to Ukrainians. And when they come over here, y'all giving them subsidy, y'all giving them housing, y'all giving them all the financial aid they need. We don't get nothing. My people still get deported at the south of the Mexican border. What are you talking about? Care about you and your family. We care about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian people only. You understand? I care so much about my family that I cannot give a damn about the other nations. And when they ask for any compassion, I already ran out. Why? Because I have so much compassion for my people. When any other nation asks for some compassion, I'm out of it. I'm out of stock. And I'm not gonna replenish the inventory for that. Only for my people. Zero. Read the scripture yourself. You don't know how to read. No action but talk. We are acting. I don't know what you're talking about. You must not know what the I.S.U.P.K is doing. Yes, that. But yeah, let's go on the book of 2nd Ezra. We're gonna go at verse 15, and we're gonna select it. Chapter 15. We're gonna start at verse 8, right? And it reads, "I will hold, Salakia, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness." Like, friends, listen. The wickedness of our oppressor is being exposed. They cannot just sweep it under the rug no more. Like, this was no secret that the French police is a racist organization. Is basically a hate group. I'm gonna just say it plain and simple. Any law enforcement across the face of the earth, they are all a hate group, especially the law enforcement of the Caucasian. If you didn't know the history of the law enforcement of the Caucasian Empire, right? Before being police officers, FBI agent, whatever the case is, before being sheriffs, right? They were slave catchers. Right? A police officer is just a new school slave catcher. That's all it is. That's it. And it's just exposing their wickedness. Like, they can't hide no more the fact that there is a problem in their system. Like, that's civil unrest. Like, they're gonna see that this is all because of, I'm not gonna give you too much. I'm gonna pull out other scripture afterwards, but just show you that the Most High, he's letting all the oppressor's wickedness being exposed to the world. Like, the whole world knows that the police officer just shot a 17-year-old Arab in France at point blank range. Like, he basically had a firearm like probably a feet away, less than a feet away from his face, from his chest. And of course, it said, the police officer felt like he was in danger or whatever nonsense they say. That's what they're saying, basically, which is not true. I mean, they always feel like they're in danger. If your skin is a little too dark, they automatically feel like you're in danger. Like they are in danger. You understand? Let's keep on reading. "Which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves." Listen, we're gonna see That we're gonna understand finally how wicked our oppressor is, how much of an evil bastard our oppressor is. Like, we're not calling them the devil the Bible speaks of because, you know, they represent like a red man with horns and like goat feet. No, that's not what we're talking about. Devil means deceiver. He is the liar on the face of the earth. Like, France is the, what do you say? Paris is the city of love. The French people have, you know, have some of the best manners in the world, or they are the most articulated people in the world. Listen, that's a goddamn lie. French people are a vile, racist, and violent people. That's who the French people really are. You understand? I mean, if France was such a great nation, why did they need to enslave blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians in the first place? Like, if I'm, let's say I'm incorrect. Let's say I'm wrong. Like, how am I wrong? Like, when I say French is a violent nation, like, they built the empire on enslaving blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian people. Like, the reason Haiti is in the state that it's in right now is because of mainly of the French, and also because of America. Like, soon as the Haitian liberated themselves, right? First of all, Napoleon, he's like, I'm gonna reinstate slavery. That's number one. But that didn't work for that didn't work at all. Second, they told Haiti, y'all have to pay us about, what is it, about 20 billion in today's money, right? Just to cover all the losses from losing all the slave all the slave labor that we could have had from y'all. That's how Haiti is destroyed right now. In what about the U.S.? What's the U.S. role in the destruction of Haiti? Well, besides U.S. intervention, the U.S. was basically like a tax collector on behalf of France. And best believe they were putting fees on those taxes they were collecting from the Haitians to pay France. You understand? But now we're gonna see how wicked these empires are. It's like, it's gonna be common knowledge that is more accessible to the world to see how wicked these empires are. You understand? And we're gonna jump down to we're gonna go to Matthew chapter 24. We're gonna see why it's gonna be important for us to gather together. We're gonna have to pick a side. Right? Let's go to Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. Again, before I read the scripture, I'm gonna address some of these comments. Samuel Adams says some of the strongest African empires enslaved other Africans. If you're talking about the Africans who sold black people to the Caucasian man, right, during the transatlantic slave trade, they did not sell their own. They sold the 12 tribes of it. They sold the real Jews the Bible speaks of. We are not Africans. We only dwelt in Africa temporarily because we were fleeing from the Roman oppression in the Middle East. That's how we ended up in West Africa. And these Africans, like, for those who've seen the movie The Woman King, it's about the Dahomey kingdom, right? There's a scene where you see them with slaves. Those slaves were not Africans. They were the Jews the Bible speaks of. The Dahomey kingdom was a prosperous kingdom because they were slave traders. Like Nigeria, even was it Benin? They apologized for their role in the slavery because they know how to big, like, listen, they're starting to feel guilty because they know we're not the same people and we don't want to gather with them. Like that, like I said, well, like we just read in 2nd Esdras, right? Chapter 15, verse 8. You're gonna see the wickedness of these empires. And it's common knowledge, like, you know, they're apologizing for the role they had in the slavery, right? Listen, Google Dahomey, Dahomey, the Dahomey Kingdom. Just go watch the movie The Woman King. That's it. Like I said, Matthew chapter 24, we're gonna start at verse 6. See any more of these comments? Just an excuse to hate. Listen, there is no excuse to hate. Like, I'm just speaking facts. Like, the French Empire, the British Empire, the Spanish Empire are violent empires. This is historical facts. Like, I'm not just giving you my personal opinion. Y'all can make your own research. This is just historical facts. Like, these empires have been built You know, they committed a genocide against the Native American Indians. They mass murdered, mass raped blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans just to be able to celebrate 1st of July, Canada Day, just to be able to celebrate Independence Day, the 4th of July. Just every single Caucasian empire has committed a genocide to be able to celebrate their, you know, their independence or their pride of their kingdom. So this is not an excuse to hate. I'm not even telling anyone to hate anybody. I'm just letting you know what's gonna happen near future. Y'all gonna have to pick a side. Are you gonna side with your people, or with the people who are against your people, with your enemies? And listen, y'all have the freedom to choose whatever you want to do in your life. So you're gonna either pick a side, whatever side you choose, that's all on you. You understand? If you have a problem with what I'm reading from the Bible. You have a problem, go talk to God. Talk to God about it. Tell him you disagree with his word. How about that? And Johnny Faye said, the Bible is the book for all. Christ died for all. That's a lie. As a matter of fact, we're going to bring up a scripture afterwards to prove that Christ did not die for everybody. You understand? So let's go. What I said, Matthew chapter 24, we're going to start at verse 6, right? We're going to see why it's going to be to each his own. We're going to see why we're going to have to pick a side. We're going to see why even just like whoever said Christ died for everybody, everybody's not just going to, hold hands together. Multiculturalism is over with, is been over with. And we say it's the beginning of the end. Listen, yeah, y'all are really close to the end right now, right? So let's read Matthew chapter 24, verse 6, and it reads, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. You understand? So it said that we shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. I mean, how long has it been now? What, 2 years, a little over 2 years? Russia invaded Ukraine, right? China been saying, he's going to go to war with India at the Indo-Chinese border, or is about to invade Taiwan, right? You see the civil unrest in France. You understand? Listen, this is biblical. We're hearing of wars and rumors of wars. We're not just making stuff up. We're giving you prophecy right here, right? What you're gonna see. Let's keep reading. See that ye be not troubled. Again, who is it talking to? It's talking to the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And how do I know the context of it? Because as you can read in Matthew, right, where Christ spoke to his disciples, he said not to go into the ways of the Gentiles, but go teach the lost sheep of Israel. He didn't tell the disciples to go teach everybody. He said to go teach the lost sheep of Israel, not everybody. So when it says, see that ye be not troubled, when it talk about ye be not troubled, it's talking about the nation of Israel. You understand? Darren Romano, prove what you're saying. Christ, listen, he did not send the disciples to the Gentiles. Well, good night. Pull up a scripture and let's see if you're right. You understand? Otherwise, just sit down, shut your mouth, and be quiet, as a matter of fact. Right? And I'm going to show you that both of y'all, Darren and Joe Sav, are wrong. But let's keep reading. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Meaning, all those wars and rumors of wars, everything that's happening right now is supposed to come to pass. It's supposed to happen, but the end is not yet. Meaning, Christ is not going to come back just yet because, World War III just popped off. You understand? This is soft things. Like, more is supposed to happen, right? The wars is not just supposed to start and Christ comes back, right? You're gonna see what's gonna happen, right? Joseph, listen, if you have an issue with what I just said, go take it up with the Most High. Like, we ain't hard to find. You understand? We ain't hard to find. Nobody's scared of you. Don't listen, we're gonna ignore the internet gangsters, all right? Let's read now verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation. Listen, nation shall rise against nation, meaning Russia went in war against Ukraine. China is going to go to war as well. You understand? all those empires are gonna fight one against another, right? All these nations are gonna fight one against another. All these wars that you're seeing right now brewing up, all these wars that are about to start, that is popping off. This is prophesied in the scriptures. We just read it. A nation shall rise against nation. Let's keep reading. And kingdom against kingdom. Listen, this is pretty straightforward, no? Do you already need a breakdown? This is pretty straightforward. A nation was going to rise against another nation, a kingdom against another kingdom. Yet, y'all want to listen to Martin Luther King telling you, let's join hand in hand with our oppressor. Good night. This is to show you how bad we're destroyed as a people. You understand? It just shows how bad we're destroyed as a people. Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, instead of gathering together, we'd rather join our oppressor. Right? You ain't oppressed there and say, if I ain't oppressed, like why is the French Caribbean never been freed from France? Why are the Native Indian people still on reservation on their own land? Isn't that oppression? Why is Haiti in the state that it's in right now? See, that's what we said. You are the devil the Bible speaks of. The Caribbean has nothing to do with the United States, and you ain't oppressed with them. See, that's how you know, like, these people are a people that lack compassion. Now, you want to, first of all, I'm from the Caribbean. I'm from the French Caribbean, so I know what I'm talking about. I know my people is oppressed. Second, aren't the Native Indians still on reservation in the United States talking about we're not oppressed? Do you know about redlining? You don't know about redlining? Do you know what about all the drugs that were brought into our neighborhood? If I'm not lying, this is just historical facts. See, I know, Darren, I know for a fact that you are the devil the Bible speaks of. I know that you are the devil the Bible speaks of. Right? Because you just lied right here. You said I'm lying and I'm just a professional victim. Now, you can look it up. This is just historical facts. Like, the islands of Martinique and Guadeloupe were poisoned by the French, and they knowingly poisoned both of these islands. France still has colonies in the Caribbean. France has colonies throughout the world talking about we're not oppressed. The native are still in reservation talking about we're not oppressed. Latinos, even Trump is about to pass a law if he's re-elected, that even those Latinos born on U.S. land cannot get a citizenship if their parents were not citizens in the first place. And how are we not oppressed? Like, the United States, Canada, France, the UK, Spain, Portugal, all these kingdoms were built off of our oppression. And they're still looting the Americas and the Caribbean islands. Talking about I'm a liar. You are the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of. And the Most High has something in reserve for your people. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let's get that right now. Let's go into Isaiah chapter 14. Listen, listen, you want prophecy? I'm gonna give you a prophecy. You understand? As a matter of fact, let's start in Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. Right? I'm gonna give you two scriptures, and then we're gonna be done dealing with you, Darren. All right. Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. If a man have an ear, let him hear. Meaning, if a man have understanding, let him understand. Right? Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. A people who put another people into chains, into slavery, they will also go in chains. Last time I checked, you understand? I never let anybody into captivity. Your ancestors did. Your ancestors put my ancestors into captivity. And because of that, your people are going to go into captivity. Your people are going to go in chains. Like, listen, again, this is not any personal opinion. I'm just reading the Bible. You have a problem, take it up with God again. Go argue with God. That's it. You understand? Let's keep reading. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Isn't that pretty straightforward as well? Yes, that this, because your people unalive my people, your people has to go. It's not my interpretation. That's just what it says. Black, you understand? Black lettering on white paper. Y'all can go read it for yourself. You understand? But let's grab another precept, and then we're gonna let Darren go and cry in his corner. All right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. I know devils like Darren never had any slaves. They never had any slaves. You understand? They never had any slaves. I understand. No sweat. But the Most High said to prepare slaughter for the children, for the iniquity of their fathers. It's not about what Darren did. It's about what his forefathers did. You understand? Just like the nation of Israel is paying for their sin of their forefathers, all the heathens are going to pay for their sins of their forefathers. Why I say all the heathens? Because okay, just because our oppressor he's a despicable bastard and he's always making everything racial, right? This is not anything racial. It's not against Caucasian people at all. We're speaking against what they did to us because they're the worst oppressors on the face of the earth. And they're not only oppressing us. People think we're crying because we're not oppressed or we're just victims. Caucasians are oppressing the whole planet Earth. But we're speaking about us because why would I give a damn about oppressing? The Asians being oppressed. They're not my people. And the Most High told us to be separate. You understand? So now they're oppressing everybody. Like, listen, they committed genocide on the island of Australia. Now the Australians are not the so-called dark skinned Aborigines you see nowadays. They're people looking like Iggy Azalea. You understand? But this is not about. It's not a black and white issue. The Africans are also going in chains. They sold us. They had a hand against us. They played a part in our slavery. The Arabs are also going in chains. They built the slave ships that we went on, and they had us as slaves as well. The Asians are also going in chains. Like, it's not a black and white issue. Every single heathen, every single nation that had a hand against the nation of Israel is going to pay for what their forefathers did, what they are still doing to us. You understand? It's that simple. It's not a black and white issue. That's it. Right? Yeah, we're gonna leave it at that. Darren, you could go back, cry in your corner. You understand? You feel sorry because you're gonna go and change. Listen, I could not give a damn about your opinion. I'm not even giving you my opinion. I'm just reading from the scripture, right? Whatever you say, government agent. Yeah, listen, I'm an officer of 500. How about that? Officer 500, Barak Ya'ala Ban Banyamyan. I hope you wrote it down. You understand? Now, let's go back to some scriptures, right? So just like we read Matthew, let's go back to Matthew chapter 6, verse 7, because I'm breaking down why we're going to need to gather together, right? In the times that are coming. You understand? If there's any more trolls, we're going to ignore them for time's sake. If y'all have any questions or comments, of course, put it in the chat. You understand? Sprint, hocus pocus. So let's read Matthew chapter 24, verse 6 again. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Again, we're hearing of wars and rumors of wars, civil unrest, civil wars, race wars. I mean, in all the Caucasian empires, you always hear about what do you call it? The right wing, the far right, or the white extremists, understand, gathering together, getting ready for something to pop off, and it is going to pop off. And that's what we're reading about. You understand? all those civil wars, race wars that are, it's gonna happen, and it's gonna come to America. It's gonna come to the North, Central, and South American continents. It's gonna be in the Caribbeans as well. You understand? It's gonna be throughout the whole planet Earth. Wherever we try to mingle with our oppressors, listen, this is gonna be a race war. Then you're gonna have to pick a side, and we're gonna show you that you're gonna have to pick a side. That you can't be on both sides. You can't be for everybody. And the oppressor is gonna let you know when shit pops off, when shit hits the fan, that you cannot be for everybody. Hey, I have my brother here. Shalom, you have Zabaja in the chat. You understand? Water for tuning in. You can hop on whenever you want. I don't want. You understand? But then let's read verse 7 now. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Again, what Darren just said earlier, he said, what he said? He said that I'm a government agent. I'm trying to divide people. The Bible has said that nation is going to rise against nation. The Bible is saying that there will be division. Like, again, this is not in my personal opinion. Like, y'all do, like, I could care less. You understand? I could just be working at home. Like, there's so much stuff I could do. I could just care less about what happens in the world. But I'm saying tune in about what happens because everything is biblical. It's about my people being freed finally from their slavery, finally from their oppression. That's why I care. Understand? It's about my people. You understand? It's about justice being shown to my people. Finally. Do you remember the feeling that the black community had when OJ was found not guilty? Like, I'm not saying he was guilty or not. I don't give a damn. But that feeling that we had a sense of justice. Like, yeah, a black man did not do it. You understand? That's how we were feeling. Like, that sense of justice that we had is it was what? It was a drop in a bucket. It was a drop in a lake. That was nothing. Right? Like, what officer? I think it was the officer on the live dumb. What's his name again? Was it Eric Garner? One of the officers was found guilty. I think the devil, Derek Chauvin, Salakia, I think he was found guilty. And we had that sense of like, yeah, finally, we're going to get a sense of justice. But as a people, we never got a sense of justice. Never. How do you know that we never got a sense of justice? The Native Americans are still begging for clean water. Like in 2023, Justin Trudeau is spraying the forest, trying to extinguish forest fires, and it's not working because instead of provide a water bottle to a Native American, not even a water bottle he's going to provide to a Native Indian reservation, he's just going to spend billions of dollars to Ukrainians, instead and give financial aid to Afghanis, instead refugees, whatever the case is, and trying to extinguish forest fires. With all that water that he's pouring down that's drying up in the fires, he could give some water to the Native Indians. And even if he would provide water to the Native Indians, that would not even be justice. That would barely be compassion. That most likely would be a trap. It would be to get the Native Indian vote. You understand? That's right. George Floyd, that's who was unalived, you understand? But even with George Floyd, the police officer, that sense of justice that we got, right, is it's a drop in a lake, in a sea. Sebastian, I'm using that term because that's what people know them as, the Native American Indian, Native Indian whatsoever. You understand? Really, their identity is the Gadites, right? They are the tribe of Gad. That's their true identity. I understand. Whether you want to call them Native American Indian, I'm not here to offend any so-called indigenous brother or sister. I'm just using a broad term for people to understand who I'm talking about, right? Darren, listen. Who is your father from? Because I'm not gonna keep making assumptions. Who's your father from? You understand? Where is your father from? What's your nationality? Right? If you're a Native American Indian, I don't know why you're trying to go against me. If you're a so-called Native American Indian, indigenous, right? Your father's Lakota, Mosai in Christ. Listen, I don't know why you're going against me then, because you're my brother. and telling, see, and there's something else I don't understand. You're saying we're not oppressed, and your father is Lakota. Aren't the Lakota people still on reservation? I don't understand. Aren't the Lakota people oppressed? See, now I'm trying to understand now. Because when people accept Christ, they are our brothers and sisters, no matter where they're from. Listen, the people known as the Negro people in the America that were enslaved in the Americas and the Caribbeans, the people you call Latino today, people are called indigenous or Native American today. They are the 12 tribes of Israel. They are brothers and sisters. Like, if you're actually a Lakota, listen, you're a so-called indigenous man, you're my brother. Like, I have no qualms with you. And DNA comes from our oppressor, the devil the Bible speaks of. You understand? The DNA test, like, listen, Darren, what you could do yourself a favor, follow the host, because I will bring out a tape where I'm gonna disprove that DNA. I'm gonna understand. If you can wait for me to bring out the tape, no sweat. Listen. If you felt any type of way, I apologize, brother. Right? There maybe have been a misunderstanding, but right, follow the host and we'll get together. You understand? We'll chop it up. But in the meantime, let me keep on doing the class, all right? For time's sake, I don't have much time left. So again, I just showed you, but if y'all still have any questions or comments, put it in the chat, right? If I offended the brother, I apologize to the brother, right? If he's a brother, of course. But let's go keep on reading, all right? We're gonna go into Revelation chapter 6, verse 4, that I'm gonna show you why, like we broke it down, right? What happened, the incident that happened in France is gonna spread throughout the world. And it is bound to happen throughout the world, right? Let's go to Revelation chapter 6, verse 4. Why am I wearing sunglasses? Why don't you mind your own business? How about that? Revelation chapter 6, verse 4, and it said, and there went out another horse that was red. Now, I'm going to break down, like, what is the red horse talking about? Who is it talking about, right? And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. Now, that red horse, you understand, is a spirit. It's a spirit of war. You see all that civil unrest, like I said, that we broke down, all that civil war, race war that's about to happen. Okay, all these is because the red horse, that spirit of war, has been let loose. You understand? And that's what I'm saying. What happened in France, like, don't even focus on why it happened in a sense where, oh, because they unalived a Arab dude, a young Arab kid. That's why it happened. But also because the Most High said he's gonna let loose a spirit of war. Like, again, do you know how many nations the French oppress? These nations are gonna go riot. They're not gonna give a damn about the little kid that was unalive. They're gonna riot because of all the oppression that they still suffer under the French. And the same thing's gonna happen in the UK. All the oppression, like the UK still has some of the Caribbean islands part of their Commonwealth. Understand? They are still, I think, some of the Virgin Islands are still under British rule. Understand? They're gonna listen. Let's put it like this, for lack of better words, you're gonna have a worldwide riot. Let's put it like that. And it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse from there. Whatever happens, it's just gonna get worse from there. Best believe it. Because that red horse in Revelation chapter 6, verse 4 has been let loose. That red horse, that spirit of war, is let loose on the face of the earth. You understand? Which is why it's going to be really more important, more than ever, that so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native American people gather together as one people again, just like we were one at some point. You understand? Like, during the reign of Solomon, like the 12 tribes were one, but of course Solomon had to sin and sleep with a snow bunny and some bat eaters, right? And the kingdom split. But y'all understand, the point is, we need to come back together more than ever, because who are we going to side with? We want to side with the oppressor because we're all Christians. We're going to side with the Arabs because we want to be Muslims. Now you're going to follow after your oppressor and side with him when he's going against your people. How does that make sense? As a matter of fact, let's grab let's grab Zephaniah chapter 2 verse 1 real quick. Any questions or comments, put it in the chat. Domino, do not worry. I'm ignoring the trolls. No, I'm ignoring the trolls. Darren, I hope you followed the host. We're gonna break down that DNA falsification, that DNA fallacy that our oppressor has put out there. So follow the host if you want to see the video. Tune in. You understand? But like I said, we're gonna break down Zephaniah. We're gonna go to Zephaniah chapter 2 verse 1. We're gonna see what we need to gather together more than ever. Like all of these brothers talking about, well, I can't hang with my own people. You know, they cheese me, they piss me off, whatever stupidness they say. You know, I don't like you have brothers like, what's his name, the MMA fighter Henry Cejudo. The MMA fighter saying, you know what, I'm not Mexican. Like, I know my background, but I'm a proud American and I'm a Latino for Trump. Good night. Listen, and he spoke against his father who got deported. He said his father deserved it. I'm just paraphrasing, right? But because of people like these, listen, these people are gonna side with their oppressor. Next thing you know, when they talk about deportation for anybody, they'll be like, hey, Henry Cejudo. What's his name? Henry. Then they're gonna read his last name, Cejudo. Like, all right, no sweat. Listen, to the other side of the border. Yeah, you think, you understand? And for Henry Cejudo, you say you're a Latino for Trump, but what about the new law Trump is about to pass if he gets reelected? Right? If he gets reelected, Latino kids born from so-called illegal immigrants, I'm saying so-called because we know, like Mexico, like Cali, Texas, all that is still Mexico. It was Mexico, but the so-called illegal immigrants, when they bring a child to the world in what is today the United States, that child is not allowed to have American citizenship. So Henry Cejudo, if Trump was elected president at the time that your father so-called illegally jumped the border, you would not have been an American. You would have been deported even if you were born on American soil. You goddamn hypocrite. But yeah, let's go into Zephaniah chapter 2 verse 1. Let's not, you understand? Let's not waste too much time. So Zephaniah chapter 2 verse 1, it reads, gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. You understand? I don't remember who said I was trying to promote division, but right now it's just to gather together. But not everybody. It's talking about the nation not desired. It's talking about the people you call spics, the people you call niggas, the people you call savages. That's what it's talking about. Because last time I checked, the Ukrainians are not the people who are not desired. Like, we let them in. Good night. To add insult to injury, like we want to prevent Haitians, Jamaicans, we want to prevent Latinos from crossing the border. And if they do, you're gonna deport them on the other side of the border. But y'all letting Afghanis and Ukrainians come to the Mexican border, that just shows you right there who's a nation not desired. And I don't need to say more than that. It lets you know right here who's the nation not desired. And y'all trying to admit them to the country, to Canada, the UK, France, the States, right? On the premise that they are fleeing a conflict. Like, when the place that we are born in, whether any place in South Central America, in Latino America, instead in the Caribbean islands, right? Our place has been in turmoil. Like, have you seen the state of Haiti? Listen, go look at the state of Haiti. Right? Haiti is, y'all see it when y'all trying to say the Palestinians are living in like rubble and everything like that. Right? Look at the state of Haiti right now because of the French and the Americans. Like, they are fleeing a conflict. There is no government in Haiti right now. They are feeling the conflict as well. You understand? This is who needs to gather together. The so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indians. The people who are despised by the whole planet. Like, they love a flavor, but they don't love the people. Like, you have, what's it called? You have Asians, right? You have Asians like the Japanese who are, you know, copying the Cholo style, dressing like Cholos and everything like that, or, you know, doing dancehall music, trying to dance like Jamaicans. They still oppress us in the Caribbean. They're taking over the Caribbean and Mexico. You understand? This is who is talking about. The nation not desired is the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. I'm going to keep on reading. All right. Read verse 2. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the shaft, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Listen. What's about to happen is not going to be pretty. The Most High said, gather together before it's too late. Before he rains down fire and brimstone in this empire, you better gather together. You better leave snow bunnies alone. You better leave, what's it called? General Tao alone. You better leave, what's it called it again? You better leave all the Bollywood alone, the Nollywood alone. Better leave all the heathens alone and gather together. Like, separate yourself from the heathens. Like we just read at the beginning of the class, the Most High severed us. He cut us off from the other nations. We're not supposed to be joined with them. Like, imagine you get your arm cut off, right, from the rest of the body. But that arm is trying to reattach itself to the body. But the body is cancerous itself. That this is Israel. This is our people. And we're cut off from the nations, but we're trying to attach ourselves to the nations. That's how you need to look at it. We're supposed to be a holy people. Holy, and from the Hebrew word Kodash. You understand? The Nashville 2 said, Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. I was about to go in Revelation anyway, so let's go into Revelation. Let's try to answer the question of Nashville. If y'all have any comments or questions, put them in the chat. You understand? So he said Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. Okay, so what is your question about the verse? I have the verse right. What is your question? Do you want just a general breakdown? What is your question about the verse? You understand? Let me know what's the question about the verse, and we're going to answer it. In the meantime, while Nashville puts his exact question about the verse, we'll go into Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. And the class is about to be over soon, so anyone who has any more questions or comments, put them in the chat. Shout out to everyone who was in the chat. So 1000 Zabadia, Nashville, Ketchup, Domino. Thomas Michael said Jesus was Mexican. No, but I mean, Mexicans are part of the 12 tribes, so they are Jesus' brothers. So I don't know what you're talking about. Whereas the Jerusalem is clearly in the Middle East. That's basic geography, so I don't know what they're talking about. Why you continue to worship the Christ of the New Testament? You know, listen, I'm gonna ignore that. It's another troll. His name is Yehuda. I bet you say Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, or some stupidness like that. I bet I could. Good night. Listen, I'm gonna ignore the trolls, right? But Nashville, one second. Why he spelled Yehuda? Because he's a purple sodomite. That's why. So let's go to Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. Nashville is not in the comment anymore. So he cannot expound on his question. So Revelation chapter 18, we're going to start at verse 1, as a matter of fact. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. I'm reading from verse 1 for context, right? Verse 2 says, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen. Now, what is it talking about when it's saying Babylon the Great? You understand? You're asking a question. Well, what's your question? Why do we worship the Christ of the New Testament? We don't worship Christ. We worship God, the God of Israel, Yahweh in the Hebrew, not Yahuwah or Yahweh or whatever nonsense is out there. We worship the God of Israel. That's who we worship, all right? So coming back to the scripture, right? Who's it talking about? Babylon. It's talking about America, you understand, who is spiritually Babylon, was, and it's comparing, because Babylon was a sinful, good night, was a sinful, I don't know what words I could use to describe the city of Babylon and how sinful it was. It was one of the most sinful cities. You understand? The Babylonian Empire was one of the most sinful empires, and a lot of these empires modeled themselves after the Babylonian Empire. You understand? And those empires who modeled themselves after the Babylonian Empire, America modeled itself after those empires. You understand? So this is why is comparing Babylon, America, or nicknaming America and its allies as Babylon. You understand? So let's keep reading. So it says that Babylon is fallen, meaning the empire is crumbling down. The empire of oppressor is crumbling down, right? As we read, it says, and it's become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Listen, our oppressor's kingdom, there's all matter of sin in the oppressor's kingdom. In 2023, you could identify as an East Indian sodomite bird today. Good night. This is how wicked our empire is. You understand? It's like I have to watch my speech because of TikTok, but you can identify as anything. There's in 2023, they're still trying to approve or pass a law that is how could I put it? They're trying to still approve to pass a law that is saying that being a child molester is a orientation. See how wicked this empire is? They're still fighting for that. You understand? In this wicked empire, good night, Canada, you could legally get high in Canada. You go to British Columbia and you could legally possess a certain amount of drug and just get high. No, you understand? That's how wicked of our empire, not our empire, this empire that we live in is. That's what it's talking about. And this wicked empire is fallen. For all you coons, you understand, all you Tío Tomas, Uncle Toms that are out there today celebrating 1st of July, 4th of July, whatever the case is, this empire is crumbling down. Yeah, there's not going to be any more 4th of July to celebrate anymore. Very soon, Lord willing, next year, Lord willing. Good night. Zabajin knows what I'm talking about. You understand? Zabajin knows, like, hey, listen, Lord willing, tomorrow. You understand? Let's keep on reading. He said Uncle Tom was righteous. Yeah, Martin Luther King, he was as righteous as Martin Luther King was. You understand? Revelation chapter 18, verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. It's like, meaning, what is fornication? Fornication is unlawful sex. You understand? But it's not literally talking about a sexual activity. It's just talking about that, just like it's not literally talking about getting drunk with the wine of this kingdom. You understand? It's really talking about partaking in their sinful lifestyle. Like, even in countries that are not necessarily Americanized, for lack of better words, like they're all following after America. They're all following after the blueprint of the Roman Empire. You understand? They're all following after Christianity, as a matter of fact. Outside the ISUPK, it's all Christians. And Christians, you understand, are just, they're all about, they all talk, but they just talk the talk, they don't walk the walk. They say, yeah, we worship God, but they eat pork. They say, yeah, we worship God, but the Pope, the Roman Catholic Church is the house is of child molesters. This is damn near a gay club with none but child molesters in there. You understand? Listen, that's pretty much it. Like, all these nations, they really follow after Christianity. Even other nations that are just like Iraq. Iraq is trying to ban homosexuality. Now, how was homosexuality legal in Iraq in the first place? They were following after America. All that American influence, that's that wine that all the other empires are drinking. They're partaking in the same custom, you understand, of the superpower of the world, which is America today. Right? Let's keep on reading. And Salakia. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich. Salakia. The merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of their delicacies. Like, they get rich following after America. And what's following after America really is oppressing Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indian people. That's how they get rich. Like, without the oppressor committing a genocide, you understand, on the Native American Indians, you would not have any East Indians corner stores, would not have any Asian corner stores in our neighborhoods. Without us, being oppressed, there would not be other nations' businesses in the Americas in the first place. That's how rich they get. Like, even in the Caribbeans, you see all those dirty coolie in the Caribbeans, the East Indians and the Asians, right? Like, they would not be able to set up shop in the Caribbean islands if we were not enslaved in the first place. Now, the user, I'm not going to read this number. He said, why do you oppress Hispanics? How are we oppressing Hispanics? I don't even know. Like, you need to come clear with that question. How are we oppressing Hispanics? Now, we push for Black and we don't only push for that, understand, but we live Black and brown love, Black and brown unity, and we don't hate Hispanics at all. Listen, let me clear something out. The I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, is not affiliated with any so-called other Israelite camps, whatever they call themselves out there. If you're talking about the purple sodomites, you understand? If you're talking about Nasty Nate, right? The police undercovers pretending to be the Israelite Christians wearing purple with fringes, it's not us. You understand? It's not us. Like, go look up. You have I.S.U.P.K Mexico, I.S.U.P.K Puerto Rico, Latino America. I don't know why you say we hate Hispanics. You must, mistake us for some other people out there. We're not the purple Israelites, the purple Christian who are using racial slurs against Hispanics. We're not doing that. You understand? We love my Latino people. You understand? Like, how can you say I hate Hispanics? You don't even know. Listen, you must not know, like, that you must not know about my Dominican side, right? Is that what it is? See, it's good night. Listen, don't listen to the purple sodomites out there. The ISUPK, we're all about black and brown love. You understand? We're all about unity with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian people. We gather together, right? Now, you would have to prove your claim that we hate Hispanics. Until then, I'm just going to continue for time's sake, right? Like I say, let's keep reading. Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. Again, just like we read at the beginning of the class, we're supposed to be a separate people. But, you know, we're joining our oppressor because we think that we can live the American dream and wax rich like all those merchants oppressing us. But they're only rich because they're oppressing black, Hispanics, and natives. Like, we cannot get rich from oppressing our own people. You understand? And fish plug, I don't know what kind of nonsense you're saying. I'm reading from the New Testament right now. And in the New Testament in Revelation chapter 18, verse 4 is telling the children of Israel to separate, to come out of her, to separate from Babylon, which is America, spiritually, not physically, because where we're going to go to? We're going to go to Central America, South America. We're going to go to Jamaica, go to Haiti, Barbados. You understand? No, it's telling us to separate spiritually, not physically. You understand? Spiritually, we need to stop partaking in. As a matter of fact, let's keep reading. Let's see why we need to separate spiritually, right? It reads that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. Meaning, we need to stop living an alternative lifestyle. We need to stop selling drugs. We need to stop getting high. We need to stop black on black crime, black on brown crime, brown on brown crime, etc. You understand? We need to stop hating on each other. You need to. Our women, when she sleeps with her man, that's her man for life. She needs to stop sleeping around because he decided to have more than one wife. You understand? And brothers, stop sleeping with other brothers' women. We need to stop partaking in the sinful lifestyle that is given to us, that is taught to us. You understand? Our oppressor is teaching our women that they are sexually liberated, which is just the bougie word to say, you know, you're a whore. Just act like a whore. It's fine. That's what sexually liberation is. That's what our oppressor is teaching our women. That's why we should never listen to our oppressor. We should get out, come out of her, come out of the culture and customs of our oppressor spiritually, and gather together just like the Most High told us to do. Right? Because listen, y'all, because I've seen in the comments, like, what's the solution? Like, what are we doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, what is joining our oppressor doing benefit? Like, how does it benefit us to join our oppressor? I'm gonna put it like this. How would it have benefited the so-called Jewish people, the so-called Yiddish people, to join the Nazis? How would it benefit the Palestinians to join the Israelis dropping bombs on them? Like, do you see how, can you understand how stupid that sounds? Like, where's the benefit for black, Hispanics, and Native people in joining their oppressors? You understand? Ahmed Jabbar, I'm waking up my people, letting them know they are the chosen people of the Most High. You understand? We are supposed to be a holy people, meaning a separate nation. We're not supposed to join with your people. We're not supposed to join with the snow bunnies. We're not supposed to join with the bat eaters, the camelback riders. We're not supposed to join with the East Indians. You understand? We're supposed to join with our own people. We're not supposed to hold hands with little white boys and little white girls. We're not supposed to live in a dream. Reality is that we're supposed to be a separate nation from all the other nations on the face of the earth, just like the Most High ordered us. And in these days, after the incident, the civil unrest, like in France, is going to spread throughout the world, right? Because, like we read in Revelation chapter 6, verse 4, that the spirit of war has been let loose on the face of the earth. You're going to understand that you need to gather with your own people. In that it's biblical for every single nation to gather with their own. We're going to get that right now. Let's go into Isaiah. We're going to get a few more scriptures before we end the class, right? Let's go into Isaiah chapter 13, verse 14, if I'm not mistaken, right? Again, any questions or comments, put it in the chat. Not anyone with a mouth can talk about Palestine and Israel. Listen, whatever happens over there, it is a tragedy. You understand? We're not condoning what happens to Palestinians. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm talking about, right? See, listen, see that comment? That comment right here, I wish I could pin it, right? Ahmed, what's his name? Ahmed Jabbar said, we should go relax and sing or something. That's how the other nations are looking at you, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You should just shut up and go sing. Shut up and grab the mic. Shut up and dribble a ball. Don't talk about your oppression. No one wants to hear about it. Shut up and dribble a ball. You understand? Why don't you Jabbar, why don't you shut up, leave the chat, and go make a sand patty in the Middle East? How about that? How about you do that? You understand? Go eat a sand salad. How about that? Right? Let's go into Isaiah chapter 13, verse 14, where we're going to see that even Jabbar should gather with his own people, just like we should gather with our own people and not give a damn about the rest. Like I said, this is the book of Isaiah chapter 13, verse 14. And it shall be as the chased roe and as a sheep that no man take it up. What does it mean? It shall be like an animal fleeing. You understand? It shall be like an animal fleeing, right? And what should be like why should we act like an animal fleeing? Because let's see, let's keep reading. They shall every man turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own land. It's going to be to each his own. That's what it means. We're going to flee to our own people, to our own land. That's what it means. And it's not only in this Old Testament. We're going to read that in the Apocrypha as well, that we're going to cleave to our own. You understand? My wife is black, and Islam has the most love for all people, colors, but you're just talking out. Listen, historically speaking, Islam spread throughout the face of the earth by the sword, meaning if you were not converting to Islam, you were getting your head chopped off. And that's historical facts. Listen, it seems like you don't even know either you don't know your own religion, or you're just being a hypocrite and a liar. That's it. But, you know, this is not the topic of the class. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus for time's sake. I'm just gonna ignore the trolls in the chat. Ecclesiasticus chapter 33, no, Salakia, chapter 13, verse 15, right? It reads, every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. You understand? We each love our own people. That's what it means, right? Let's keep reading. All flesh consorted according to kind, and the man will cleave to his like. Listen, it's going to be to each his own. The race wars are going to pop off. You're going to have to pick a side. It's going to be to each his own. Either you with or you are against your people. You're not going to be able, you know, to be for everybody. And you're not going to be able to be the mediator. Best believe it. If you're in the middle, you're while they're exchanging fire, exchanging ammunition. You understand? Listen, you're bound to get hit. You understand? You're gonna have to pick a side. You're gonna have to be with or against the I.S.U.P.K. That's what it's gonna come to. We're gonna show you that you cannot be lukewarm. We're gonna show you that you cannot be in the middle, right? You cannot serve two masters. Let's go to Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. You're not going to be able to say God loves everybody and not join the fight. You're going to have to join the fight. You're going to have to pick. You're going to have to pick a side. You're going to have to listen to the Most High and be a holy people and separate and gather yourself together, or you're going to have to be with the oppressor or the oppressors. Because it's not a black and white issue again. It's all the nations that are not Israelites had a hand against us and are still oppressing us today. But as a matter of fact, yeah, let's get that last scripture. I'm going to end the class for tonight. You understand? Let's go to Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. It reads, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other. You're going to pick a side. That's all it is. That's what it means. You're going to have to pick a side. You can't say you love everybody and go against what God said. Because God's never said he loved everybody. You understand? God never said he loved everybody. You're going to have to pick a side. You're going to have to be with the I.S.U.P.K or with the heathens. You have to be with your people or with your enemies. And if you're siding with your enemies, good night, Lord be with you. But that's what it's going to come down to. And this is not something you can help. This is, you can't help it. You understand? But with that said, we're going to leave it at that, right? We're going to be, this Saturday, we have the I.S.U.P.K Canada scripture breakdown. You understand? We're going to tune in next week to the Brotherhood class, this time in French, right? We're going to be streaming from I.S.U.P.K Quebec on TikTok. You understand? Go subscribe to I.S.U.P.K Canada, I.S.U.P.K Quebec on YouTube. Go on our Facebook page, No Cowards Canada, I.S.U.P.K Quebec on Facebook. Follow the host, I.S.U.P.K Canada, I.S.U.P.K Quebec on TikTok as well. You understand? With that said, we'll see you next week, Israel. Shalom Yahbashim Yahshabrak. Tam to all the brothers. Yahweh Tam Bashim Yahweh to all the sisters. We'll see you in 2 weeks for the English Brotherhood class. All right. Shalom, TikTok. With that said, YouTube, Facebook, you understand? We're going to get the security announcements, right? We are the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West on the 25th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here, Salakia. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry, tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'aishara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives to the treasury department or a teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation, give me 1 moment. We have coming up the memorial of blowing of trumpets, which is the first day of the 7th month, which lands on Friday the 15th of September 2023 this year. You can read about it, you can read more about it in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 24 to 25. Reminder to all Akim and Aquatic to check the bulletin board in the hallway of the school if they have a physical location. With that said, with Salakia, if any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. With that said, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers and a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of visual majam, which means to stand. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of visual majam Shabbat, and majam, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Rakatam. Ya Jamata, which means hands down. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Sar, which means to turn. To turn and face the sisters if you have any of your presents. Menavishal Majam Shabbat. Amajam. Barak. Yahweh Shema Al Tan Bashim Yahushai. Ya Jamata. Class dismissed. Israel, we will see you next week. You understand? We'll see, actually, matter of fact, we'll see you this Saturday for our weekly I.S.U.P.K Canada's weekly scripture breakdown. With that said, Israel, shalom. People have an issue with footer hype, right? Because he's going off on Kofi, saying, you know, we shouldn't support the sister because in the dancehall community, right, we're really against the alternative lifestyle. You understand? But for some reason, they're accepting Kofi. And what Foot the Hype is saying is like, if we're against that alternative lifestyle, why are we not against Kofi? You know, why pick and choose? And if you want to be against it, speak against everything. If you don't want to be against it, well, next time you see like an artist like Bounty Killer in a dress, you can't speak against it because you're support Kofi.
At the teacher. And a spot. Every man grab a girl. And every girl grab a man. Man to man, girl to girl, that's right.